Hi guys! Welcome to our educational vlog. In this vlog, we're going to talk about sport, wherein we choose a wrestling sport. And this sport is an individual sport. So I know there are others who don't know if what is wrestling. So that's why for now we're going to tell you if what is wrestling. So wrestling is a general term for a combat sport between two competitors involving grappling type techniques. The main objective in most forms of wrestling is to pin down the opponent's shoulders on the mat. There are many popular wrestling styles practiced around the world, as well as many less widely known regional or folk wrestling styles. Olympic styles. There are two wrestling styles which are included in the Olympic Games and are popular around the world. So these two Olympic wrestling styles are they Greco-Roman and the freestyle. So I'm gonna tell you first if what is Greco-Roman. In this style, wrestlers are prohibited from holding any part of their opponent's body below the waist. And in this style, unlike other styles, wrestlers are allowed to use their legs for offense or defense during a bout.
Popular wrestling style, there are collegiate wrestling, judo, belt, and beach wrestling. So I'm gonna tell you what is collegiate wrestling. So a collegiate wrestling, a wrestling style practiced exclusively in the United States at the college level. And another one is judo. The objective is to throw or take down the opposing player to the ground. So the third one is the belt wrestling. The aim is to knock the down opponent by groping in the belt. And the last one is beach wrestling, where a standing up position is slice of wrestling connected on the beach. There are 5 ways to score points in a wrestling match. Number 1 is takedown. You score 2 points for taking your opponent down to the mat and controlling him or her. The number 2 is escape. When you score 1 point for getting away or getting to a neutral position when your opponent has you down on the mat. Number 3, reversal. You score 2 points when your opponent has you down on the mat and you come from the underneath and gain control of your opponent. Number 4 is a nerve fall or back points. You get nerve fall points when you're almost but not quite. Get your opponent pinned. A nerve fall is when your both shoulders are held for 2 seconds within 4 inches of the mat. Or one shoulder touches the mat and the other shoulder is at a 45-degree angle coming from the mat. Or the wrestler is held in a high bridge or back on the both elbows. Number 5 is penalty point. Your opponent is awarded points if you commit the following instruction. Number 1 is illegal holds, technical violation, unnecessary roughness, unsportsmanlike conduct, flagrant misconduct, and stalling. And the lastly is incorrect starting position of the false start.
Equipments in wrestling. Wrestling mat. Wrestling mat is the primary equipment required in the game. The mat is designed such as that it protects the wrestlers and enforces the rules for each style. The wrestling mat comes in various versions such as high school mats, practice mats, and international mats. This is the example of wrestling mat. Wrestling singlet. Wrestling singlet is a garment of one piece that covers the torso of the wrestler. It for protection for the shoulders, straps, and provided over it. Singlet is made of lycra or nylon. It is mandatory to wear if the wrestler is participating in tournaments. A particular team wears singlet of a single color. This is the example of singlet. Wrestling headgear is not an essential item, but it is necessary enough to wear a headgear if you are playing in a higher level match where it can get more physical. There is a single size headgear available that can fit all with adjusting stripes. Headgears are designed to protect the wrestler's ears. Without headgears, a wrestler may suffer from cauliflower ear, which occurs after someone gets repeatedly hits to the ear. Wrestlers are likely to have cauliflower ear because their ears may be hit while they're in a match. These blows can damage the shape and structure of the outside of the ear. This is the example of wrestling headgear. Wrestling shoes. The shoes needed to be very soft and lightweight. This is because the wrestler needs to feel light during the match. Unless you are playing for very long hours, this is also not a mandatory item to invest in. This is the example of wrestling shoes. Wrestling knee pads and mouth guards. Knee pads are used for the protection of the knees. During the shooting process, most of the wrestlers get hurt on their knees, so this is an essential item. On the other hand, mouth guards are used to protect the teeth of the wrestler during the match. These are like braces that the wrestler wears inside of his mouth. This is the example of wrestling knee pads and mouth guards. Wrestling bands. Generally, two types of bands are used in a match, red and green. One wrestler is given a red band and other is given a green one. These are needed to be placed on the ankle of the wrestler. This is the example of wrestling bands.
The wrestling mat is 12 meters square, with a 1.5 meter protection zone, a 1 meter red passive zone, a 7 meter diameter wrestling area, and a 1 meter central circle where each bout begins. Wrestling consists of two disciplines. Freestyle wrestling allows takedowns and defense using any part of the wrestler's body. In Greco-Roman, wrestling below the waist is prohibited. The aim is to force the opponent into a back-exposed position in which he can be pinned. Wrestlers begin with one foot in the central red area. A takedown to the mat without exposing the opponent's shoulder or back earns 1 point. Exposing an opponent's shoulders to the mat for up to 5 seconds earns 2 points. Longer than 5 seconds earns 3 points. A grand amplitude takedown, where a wrestler thrusts his opponent into the air with his feet above his head, earns 5 points and wins the round. Pinning an opponent's shoulders to the ground for 2 seconds wins the match.